It's a really good question, and I get that asked that a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of what I do you can't measure well and it drives me nuts because I want to measure. Like direct mail, I can measure, and both digital, I can measure, and email, I can measure, but sponsorships, I can't. Sports sponsorship, it will. My general philosophy of sports sponsorship for decades has always been it's more about ego than ROI. You go to a lot of sporting venues and you see one of our competitors. Like I'll pick on the Blackhawks. I love the Blackhawks. They're great guys. They have 8 bank sponsors. 8. Guys, and they hit me and I said, guys, I'm not going to be number 9. And they're all, and the United Center is marketing ADD anyway. But when, Larry Richmond sits there in the private bank seats and sees the private bank logo up on the thing, I'm sure he feels good about it. I doubt it does jack for him. But when we started looking at sports sponsorship, what we started looking at is, okay, the things that keep me up at night as a marketer is clutter. Okay, so how do I break through the clutter? Well, if I'm exclusive, then all right, then the clutter is not an issue. But then I want to be able to measure it. So then this is where the relationships come in, and it's okay. Well, how much business am I going to get directly from the Cubs or the Ricketts family or associated companies? And that accounts for X. And then okay, we have an entertainment package that comes with it. Okay, if I know who I gave the tickets to, and I know who sat in those seats with our bankers, and I know how much business they gave us. Okay, I can track that. And then okay, now I have specific Cubs and White Sox checking accounts. I can track how many of those I open and what the balances are on those, and on the companion accounts. Okay, so I can track most of it. And if for some reason there's this little bit left that I still can't track, then I can act like a marketer and talk about media impressions and all the other bullshit that marketers talk about. But usually I can get most of the way there by actually tracking individual pieces of it. The Olympics thing, there wasn't really a big added cost to us because I didn't do an additional media buy. Well, except I did recently. But most of the media we have was media we're already buying. It's just replacing it with new creative, and then we have a sponsorship fee to the athletes. But since we're not asking the athletes to do TV for us, the sponsorship cost for them was pretty minimal. It's really, we're talking print and appearances is really the big. And the fact that 6 of the 10 didn't make it was lowered my costs a little bit too. But couldn't predict that because Rule 40 required that we pick everybody in February, and most of the trials were over the last 30 to 45 days. So